We're standing in the tundra just outside of Nome, just north of Nome, under Anvil Mountain, looking at dredge number 5, Alaska Gold's dredge number 5. And standing next to me is Paul Yost, who was one of the crew of 90 men, is that correct?
Right.
Who built this dredge how many years ago?
About 58 years ago.
1941.
Right.
And as you look at it, and you haven't seen it since then, right?
No, I haven't.
What do you think?
It's amazing, like a ghost out of the past, you know. It's a thing of beauty.
It is a thing of beauty.
It isn't saying a word, just sitting there, lying in the pond there all by itself. And
is it that much different than when you left it?
And not too much. It's just a little bit shop-worn, so to speak. But she's a beautiful machine, really. Looks like all I have to do is just throw the switch and she's ready to go again.
Well, we're going to go down and get a little bit closer and kind of pick your brain about what it might have been like building it and what it was like here during that time.
Okay.
So, Paul, let's head down towards the dredge, your old baby. Did you guys have a nickname for it?
No, never.
Just another dredge. Hello, Central. All right, let's go down closer to the dredge. Great.
Okay.
Here with Paul Yost in front of dredge number 5. Pretty cool, isn't it, Paul?
It is.
It is
beautiful.
Now tell me, where are you from originally?
Sacramento, by Folsom.
By Folsom?
Very near Sacramento in California.
And you came to Nome in 1941. 1941. With what was the name of the company?
Yuba Consolidated Goldfields.
And they owned the land, or they were the people that were contracted to make the dredges?
Well, they had land in Yuba, and they had land up here, and they just wanted to expand their enterprise, so they built a dredge here.
Okay. And your occupation, your job?
I'm a welder.
A welder. And the crew, how large a crew made this dredge?
They had 90 of us there. We worked 7 days a week. 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. We had one day off. I think that was 4th of July.
Yeah.
I went to Nome and had a big time.
You had a big time. This is 41. So this is just before the outbreak of World War I.
Right.
World War II.
Yeah.
So it's right before Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. I went home and the war had been declared.
Okay. Because so it's before the military. Do you remember what the population was up here at the time?
It's around 5,000.
Around 5,000.
Yeah.
So about 1,000 more than today. And then, of course, during the war with Mark's Air Base and the influx of the military. But I want to talk a little bit about this dredge. We kind of did this sentimental thing about, you said yesterday when you first saw it, you said you were surprised that it was still here.
Yeah, I was.
And it pleased your soul.
It did. It's satisfying feeling that comes over, you know. It's just sitting there silently in a pond, and it's ready to go.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Now, if you look at, what do you think the size, can you kind of give us an idea of the dimensions of this dredge?
They're probably about 50 feet wide and probably 200 feet long.
And we were kind of trying to guess from the top of the spud assembly down is maybe what?
Looks like about seven or 8 stories high.
Okay. Now, and now you kind of tell us how these things worked.
Well, it's a chain. There's 83 buckets in that chain. 83 buckets, and each one of them weigh about 2.5 tons. And they just swing around in an arc. Mm-hmm. The spud, they drop the spud in the back for a pivot point, and then it goes back and forth, and each one of these scoop up a little dirt. And it goes right up into a hopper, into what they call a trommel, and it's washed out in this riffle system.
The riffle boards, yeah. And then they collect the concentrates.
Yeah.
So it's really the same exact. And then this dredge, unlike dredges for, you said, like harbor dredges and things like that, this was designed specifically with gold mining in mind.
just gold mining.
And how many of these, was this the largest or medium size of the ones you built?
The last one, it's identical to the last one we built in Marysville, California. It's the same size.
Yeah. Did it have a model number or a style number?
That what they call number 20.
Uh-huh.
This is, it's a different one.
Yeah, well, we call this one number 5, but they were all, Were you involved at all in the design of the thing?
No, not at all. I just a welder, a workman on it.
Uh-huh. You know, before we get to your involvement with gold, you were saying to me yesterday that there was one of your jobs was to replace the lips on the buckets. Is
Yes.
that correct? And
Yeah,
you were talking to me about how much did that pin weigh that held it to the trommel line, to
well,
the pole line?
each one of those buckets, like I say, weighed about 2.5 tons.
Uh-huh.
The pin that goes way through that holds them together
Uh-huh.
weighs about 450 pounds. And one of our jobs in the shop was that they wear out, we build it up with welding rod.
And that's
And that's a long, never-ending job.
a never-ending job.
But it was fun.
It was fun. And these were powered by what?
Electricity, yeah.
These were powered by electricity.
Yeah.
Now, I did a little research last night, and I know that there were generators in town back in 1923 when some of these other dredges were built back in the mid 20s, and then in 1940 they built two new generator systems, which I believe are the ones that are still existent in Nome today. And your camp, this dredge, and number 6 were fired by that electricity made in town. How, I mean, I know you were just a welder on this crew, but can these machines be adapted to other sorts of power?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Not that I know
Because
of.
I know some of the older dredges went from coal to oil and then back and forth depending on what was available.
Well, it takes such an enormous amount of electricity to run these. It's an enormous amount. So I doubt whether the other system could be used in this system.
But basically, this is a really very simple system. It's that,
Yeah,
it's
it
that
is.
recipe of placer gold, of putting dirt that you hope there's gold in, and adding water and creating a slurry and letting it
That's it.
settle out.
Yeah.
Be it a gold pan. Now, did you were a welder. You were with the crew of 90, and you were hired by Yuba Consolidated Mining to come on up to Nome in 1941 to build dredge number 5.
Right.
So now you're in Nome. Hello, Central. And it must have been beautiful. What was your first impression when you got here? You came by, did you fly?
Yeah. You know, we come up, there's an idea of just come across the Bering Sea.
So you
through
right
the
by
Aleutian
ship.
Islands and Pacific, yeah.
When you looked out and you saw the beaches of Nome, what were your thoughts?
Where's the trees? No trees. There's some snow up there in Anvil Mountain, I recall that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very barren land. But it was all young, eager to go to work.
Yeah. And what did you get involved with? Did you get gold fever?
Yeah, we went out and did a little panning.
Where did you pan?
Well, I think it's down there on Nome River.
On the Nome River?
Yeah.
What did you say? Prairie something you were talking about?
Well, Prairie City is where we did the mining in California. That was
in
an
California.
early mining claim.
I'm sorry.
It's a ghost town. Prairie City was a ghost town near Sacramento.
Mm-hmm. I was saying when we saw this yesterday, and you said they could kick up again just in a heartbeat. Now, you look at them, and I remember when just a few years ago when these were going, and you would have loved, to that sound. You hadn't heard it in 60 years, but when these things were going, as you know, they were just shuddered and everything. They creaked and groaned. And I think what someone was saying earlier today, Gary was saying that this one is known locally as Old Bessie, I think.
Yeah.
Did you get any gold?
A little.
Did you?
A little. In the pan, you can never get much.
Yeah.
But it's gold, and it's the thrill of the hunt. You're going to get a big nugget someday, It's that's gold fever.
And how long were you in Nome?
About 7, 8 months.
7 or 8 months. And then you did where'd you go from there?
Well, I left a little bit early in my pal, and I took a ship going up the Yukon River. The ship was named Trader.
Mm-hmm.
We went clear up to far as the Holy Cross, and the river froze over, and we had to get flown out with a model, old tri-motor Ford plane.
Oh, wow.
So that's the way we got out
I
of
know you collect old cars. I know you used to collect Model T Fords.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to go back just on a technical thing, these dredges, which I'm told are called boat-hulled dredges because they're pretty much a vessel, right?
Yeah.
And they had to be obviously watertight.
Yes.
And all of this material was brought up by the ship.
Yes.
Right.
Well, this is brought up a year before. This didn't happen all in 1 year. It's over a period of time.
Mm-hmm. But when you were putting the hull, you put that together.
Yes,
in
right.
sections. And you said one of the engineers told you an interesting statistic.
Well, was welding overhead, and we said, "How long is it going to take us? How much we got?" He says, "Well, I'll tell you, I'll figure it out." So he figured out there's 1.2 miles of overhead welding on the bottom of this ship, this dredge.
And that's spot by spot by spot by
Well,
spot,
you
right?
just weld it overhead, you know, and it's got to be watertight. You can't have any leaks.
Because she'd sink. Did you ever see it? I mean, did you saw it in operation?
No, I left before they flipped the switch. We wanted that there's this ship going up the Yukon, and we wanted to see some of Alaska. The rest of the gang just went across the Bering Sea, the Aleutian Islands, and went on home. Didn't see Alaska other than right here. So Merrill, my friend, and I wanted to see more of Alaska, so we went up the Yukon River.
Did you get to know any folks in town? Did you get to? Do you
Yeah,
remember any
a few.
names?
The dredge master at that time was Ed Morton, and I guess he's passed on. I tried to look him up. The Billy Communisork, that he did a lot of engraving. We just talked to his daughter yesterday.
Oh, you did find him.
Yeah.
And in their King Island, that was the
King Island.
When Paul was Paul is by also by avocation a photographer and has a wonderful. I must compliment you on your photos that he took while he was here in Nome, and some of the photos he took is some ivory that he owns that was made by a King Islander, and his name was
Billy Communisork.
Communisork.
Yeah.
And a name I'm not familiar with, but you met his
daughter.
His daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too cool.
Very charming lady. Yeah, she's just thrilled to get her father's picture, you know.
Oh, that's right. You had a picture of him as a young man.
Yeah.
Cool. What about fishing? Were you fishing up here?
Yeah, we fished in Nome River, no problem. The river just teeming with salmon.
Yeah.
Just hundreds of beautiful salmon.
Did you ever think you'd come back to Nome?
Never did. But nostalgia grabs you, and I just got to go back and see what's up there.
Well, Paul,
so here I am.
Paul, on behalf of Nome, all the gold miners that you worked with and before and in the future, welcome to Nome.
Okay,
it's been my pleasure. It's been great meeting your son and your daughter, and come back and see us again.
My pleasure.
And thanks for being here during Centennial. You didn't know that. We're right now in the middle. 1999 is the second year of our centennial celebration. This town was founded in 1901, but hey, we're Nome, so we throw a 4-year birthday party, don't you know? And a good part of it is the gold rush. Again, it's been my pleasure talking with Paul Yost, now from California for 8 months in 1941, living here in Nome, and built Dredge number 5. And thank you, sir, and the 90 guys that worked with you.
Okay, thank you so much. Holy cow! Well, that does it.
This getting gold is a very simple it's a very simple theory, right? You're going to take X amount of material in which you hope there is gold, put it into something, create a slurry, water that puts everything in suspension. The gold is 17 times heavier. It drops down to the bottom. Water rushes everything off to the bottom, and you're left with gold. That's basically the recipe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what was when you saw this dredge yesterday and seeing it today? What was your first impression?
Oh, it's almost a miracle. It's all ready to go. It's just like I told you before. It's a thing of beauty.
Cool.
It's sitting there, just a great thing to look at.
Cool. I'm going to go to another question, and again, you don't necessarily have to answer it.
Okay.
Because we've already done it. You told me you had arrived by ship, I believe, yesterday, and so did a lot of the miners 100 years ago. When you first saw the beaches of Nome 40, 60, almost 58 years ago, what were your first impressions?
Well, where's all the trees? It's just a vast, it looked like a desert, you know, Arctic tundra, and no trees. That's the first thing, the impression that you got there.
Cool. Now, I understand that your job up here was as a welder working on this particular project, but I got to ask you, Paul, did you get gold fever?
Yeah, I think everybody did. Everybody, You know, once you get a taste of the gold fever, you got to go and get that big nugget. But none of them did. It was a fun thing, you know.
Yeah, like today.
Yeah.
And what was the last one?
Okay, if you'll just ask him.
Oh,
how
right,
he feels
okay.
About,
Okay.
I want both of them.
Okay. Now, I guess if the price of gold tomorrow were to go back up to $500 or $600 an ounce or whatever, these dredges would be going faster than Hello Central. But one of the things that's probably not likely for a long time. In any case, we're hoping for a future for this dredge, and we have a lot of us in town that would love to see these dredges, be shared with our touring public that comes to town. They are certainly a part of our history, and one of the thoughts is to we're hoping that perhaps Alaska Gold might donate or give us a good price on this dredge, so we might pull it in closer to town, and perhaps put a visitor center in it, and certainly an area to show how the dredge worked, and maybe a restaurant, and maybe even talk of putting a theater in. Now, as one of the guys who 60 years ago built it, what would you think if you came back in 5 years and saw the dredge shiny and bright with people on it, and restaurant and a theater? What would you think?
I'd just be overwhelmed. I mean, I can't believe it. That's something the Egyptians would do, But when they do it here, this thousands of tons of steel moved into Nome would be a mammoth job.
Yeah, but it'd be kind of neat, huh?
It would be a thing of beauty. Yeah.
It would be a thing of beauty. Thank you, Paul. Cool.
Okay.
Great.